Good morning. Hello. Happy Friday. Welcome to Coffee and a Card. I made it here. I am kind of tweaking a new situation here in my craft room. I moved things around a little bit and I'm kind of playing around with the lighting right now. So I'm seeing there's a lot of glare on my glasses because I'm facing a window. I thought it would be great for me to view out there while I'm stamping, and but I'm seeing that that might be a little problem right now. But hopefully my desktop looks good. You don't see that yet, but I think it will be fine. And we'll deal with it. So thanks for your patience. Say good morning if you're watching live, please. And please hop in and say hello if you're watching the replay, because this will be replayed on Facebook and YouTube. And it's nice to see where people are from. So if you'd like to give us that little shout out from your home state, that would be wonderful. Good morning, Shirley. Nice to see you today. Thanks for being on today. Hello, Krista. Let's stamp something. Great. All right. I agree. Good idea. Stamping something today. Tanya and Debbie. Hello, hello. Rebecca. Hello from Pennsylvania. Welcome. Hey, I'm glad that you could all pop on. Have you seen some nice things from the new mini catalog? You must have seen a lot of sneak peeks at products, and let me split my screen. You can see the cover. Okay, a lot of some demonstrators are showing off some products, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I'm excited. I'm excited. The catalog doesn't go live until September 4th. So as you may have heard or already know, that demonstrators can do a pre-order a month before. That way we get to see the products and we get to play around with them and get to know them a little bit, so that when it comes time for you to see and shop from the catalog, then you kind of have an idea of some things that you can do and you can get shopping right away. And, oh, wow, look at all these people on today. Good morning. We have Bobby from Alexandria, Virginia, not too far from me. Okay, nice to see you. About, I don't know, an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. Okay, and Colette, Missouri. Wow. All right. Okay, lots of people. Tina, nice to see you on, and Michelle. Okay. Okay, on Facebook, I'm on the Stamp with Lorraine. I'm on the Facebook. It says I'm on. I don't know if I see anybody on Facebook right now, though, watching from Facebook. That's weird. Usually people on YouTube and Facebook. My Facebook icon is checked above saying it's streaming there. Okay, well, I'm glad you got on, Michelle. At least you found me on YouTube. We have options, right? Okay. Wow, Illinois. Wow. Wow, goodness. Okay, good morning. Oh, there's Joanne on Facebook. Okay, good morning, friends. Hey, it's going to be a busy month or so. New catalog starts September 7th. And it's also at the end of September, I'm having a full day retreat. So if you're on my mailing list, or you might have seen me mention it on Facebook, I have only 7 spots left. I'm keeping it kind of small. We're just going to be around 18 people because it's not a huge room. I want people to have some space to spread out all their stuff. So it's a day-long retreat on September 20th. If you're interested, if you're in the Baltimore area or want to make a small trip, you're welcome to do so. You have to RSVP me, and then I will invoice you the for the fee. It's going to include $40 worth of product, lunch, snacks, games, prizes, and you have lots of time, a total of 3 hours to just kind of play around and do your own thing. You can bring your own projects. Plus, you can also do some of the make and takes that I take. I'll have some kits there. I'll have cards for troops because it is a Cards for Troops Day. So I'll have some some bins, kind of like shoebox kind of things, that have materials for cards for troops that you can make while you're there and donate to the troops. So it's going to be a fun day. Some of my friends who are on here are going. And so, oh, good. People are getting back on Facebook. All right, excellent. Whichever you like to do is fine. Anyway, so RSVP me if you're interested in the retreat, September 20th. We're going to work from 9 in the morning till 3:30 in the afternoon. And there might even be an option to join us to go out for dinner afterwards if we'd like to have a group to do that too. Okay, that's not included in the price. All right, so go over to my blog, stampwithlorraine.com. You can read all the details there. And the cost for the day is only $80. That's really good for all that you're getting. All right, I'm keeping it low because it's the first one. And for this venue, there is no fee for using the room, which is great. All right, later on, if we use a place that I have to pay for, then we have to incorporate that into the fee. So that's why this one is really low. $80 for the whole day. Fun things going on. All right, so this set that I'm using from the mini catalog is I always love the birds. So I'm using Winterly Treetops, which doesn't have to be winter birds. You can make them into any kind of birds that you like, especially this one here. Okay, these have a crest. So if you're a real bird follower, then you really know your birds, you might want to keep, legit and color them as birds with little crests, cardinals or they don't really look like blue jays, do they? They're kind of small for blue jays. But anyway, you can do your research and color them accordingly if you like. But this little guy can be many other birds. So I just poured a hot cup of coffee. It's the first one for my day. I've been busy trying to get things organized here. Like I said, I'm revamping my stamping room a little bit. Excuse me. And I'm actually adding another table. I have a work table here, and I have an extra one in my garage, so I was going to add that to this. So I just turned it around how I'm going to fit both tables in. I'm just kind of trying it out before I make any permanent moves. So things are sort of all over different places. I have to move my stamp pads from way over there to right next to me and shift some things around a little bit and see what's going to work and be good logistically, because that's important when you're stamping or for any kind of work. A carpenter needs their tools nearby, and the things that you grab most, you want to be right there. All right. So like I said, I'm getting used to my camera thing. I know you see my overhead here. I'm trying to move my laptop to a place that is going to work better. But anyway, all right, I'll manage that. I'll manage that later. I'm seeing part of my laptop over here. I'm going to move my sticky notes in case they get in the way. You don't have to see my scribbles. Okay, let's see. Because you couldn't see comments. Oh, really? That's interesting. All right. Okay, Joan is on Facebook. Okay, hello, Cheryl. Wow, a lot of familiar names and faces and some new ones too. Hi, Tanya. Okay, let's get started. I saw this layout for a card from, okay, we all look around and we find things we like and we like to case them and then change them up a little bit, right? So I found this card from Connie Babbert. She's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and her business name is Inkspired Treasures. Inkspired Treasures. So I just loved it. So thank you, Connie, for your inspiration. And I'm going to show you the card because I cased it exactly, as close to exactly as I could. And then I'm going to show you other ways that we're going to use it. All right. So let me move this out of the way. Here's the card. I'm going to switch my view so that you can see that better. Okay, there we go. All right, so This is the card. I gave you some measurements on Facebook and on my mailing list. If you're not on my mailing list, go to my blog, stampwithlorraine.com, and sign up because you'll get lots of information there. You'll get notices when I have my events, and you'll get kept abreast of Stampin' Up! News. All right, so this is the card that Connie made, and I added the little pussy willow in there. I didn't see the inside of her card, but I thought that looked really sweet. We like to put a little something on the inside, and that little pussy willow branch was perfect right there. Okay, so I loved how she used the designer paper in the background to make these diagonal little elements here. I thought that was really, really different. Otherwise, it's kind of like a standard base card. You know, sometimes we put a whole sheet of cardstock or a whole layer of DSP there, or both, and then have a little element here. But I just thought it was really neat how we had that diagonal there. Okay, so when I gave you the materials that you needed, I suggested that you might want to start with a piece of designer paper that doesn't have direction. Right, this one definitely has direction because of the lines. Right, there's some vertical lines, there's some horizontal lines, and you're going to have to cut these in a certain way that are going to keep that orientation. So if you start the first card maybe with something that is not clearly vertical or horizontal, then that might be a little bit easier. But I'm going to show you both ways. In fact, I'm going to show you two ways to do it. You can decide which one is easier. All right, so let's say, okay, I am using the coordinating Nests of Winter paper. I'll move this out of the way until we're ready to go back and look at them all. The Nests of Winter paper has these beautiful designs that have these birds here, which of course you can fussy cut them out. You can use them as a background. You can, some of the dies that coordinate with this set, cut out some of the birds. And we're going to be doing that on this next card. On the card that I made over here, this one was stamped with the stamped set. And then I colored it in exactly as Connie did, because I loved her colors, Wild Wheat and Boho Blue. Colored it in with the Stampin' Blend. Okay, so you can do either way. And if you're stamping along, crafting along today, then that element could be anything. You could stamp right on the white. You can use a die cut. You can use a punch, whatever element you want. But the basic idea that I'm showing you today is how to get that diagonal DSP in the background. All right, let me show you this paper real quick. So we have that birch paper there. The back side of that is the Pussy Willows. We have these little snowflake designs with the large birds on the background. I mean, the back side, not the background. I love this one here. Oh, I should turn this. This is all upside down. Let's run this way. Okay, I love this with the smoky slate background. Looks really, really cool. And here's the back side. A lot of greens and blues and browns, you know, for nature. All right, I guess that's the back side. Okay, here's another one with large birds. And, oh, actually, that's the one that the die will cut out. There we go. All right, it does cut out those other birds, but you're just not going to get all the branches and the greenery. So this is the same thing, just without the pine needles. All right, so that's the one we're actually going to use today. I'll put that aside. And that crosshatch pattern on the back. This is so pretty too. Okay, like the little birch forest and the little birds all hiding in the trees. And then little flowers in the background. And then this one is a nice little scene, great for scrapbooking. You have the same thing on the other side, just in reverse. Okay. And the back side are little birdie footprints. Can you see that? So cute. So cute. Oh, hello, Cheryl from Nebraska. Nice to see you here today. Wow, we're all across the states today. Lois, good to see you. Good to see you. All right. Hey, Karen. Oh, yeah. Love the paper. So pretty. Okay. Let's put that aside and get going on the card. Actually, I'm going to do two because I'm going to start with, I'm going to start with this one. Let's start with that one. I'm using Misty Moonlight for my card base, 11 by 4 1/4. But of course, you can have your card orientation the other way. You can have it 8.5 by 5.5 and have it fold from this side and open this way. Certainly fine. Okay, the front is going to still be the same. Just kind of nice to have it a different way sometimes, to have it up like that. Okay, you need the same color in 2.5 by 3.5. And then the white layer to go over that is 1/4 inch less, 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. That's going to layer just like that. That will have our focal points on it. And then you need something for the background. Okay, the layer where this one was brown. We need something for the background. And I'm going to be using this as my designer paper. So I wasn't quite sure which of these was going to look good because I hadn't actually done this version of the card. So I brought out some Pool Party. I know that's the same, but it might be enough contrast. I also brought out Smoky Slate because it's kind of, I liked how this was sort of a neutral color and it kind of picked up on the browns in here. So the gray might be a neutral color. I am planning on using those birds that I showed you here. So kind of in there is kind of a bluish gray. Sometimes you want to pick up on those colors. Sometimes you just want something totally neutral, right? So, for instance, here, there's only crumb cake there. So there really is no espresso like we had on this. Okay, so, but it's enough of a neutral color to give a nice background. Okay, so I'm going to die cut this out. And that way I can layer up my card and see which one I like best. So I'm just going to cut around here so I could fit that into my machine. And then I'll get my die. And see how it matches up very nicely with those berries. I'm going to bring that little contrast of color with the berries in there. I love it. Little pops of red are always kind of fun, right? All right, I always keep a piece of washi tape stuck to my work table on the side here. So or 2 or 3, so I can hold my die in place while cutting it out. Right, hopefully that looks good. And I try to mostly stick it to the outside and catch the die here rather than sticking it on. It can hit the actual image as long as it's less sticky as it used to be. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you peel it off, if you don't do it carefully enough, it can tear your image. So just be careful with that. Another sip of coffee. I'm going to move it out of the way. Hope you're enjoying your morning and your week. I know in Maryland here it's been a little cooler the last few days, which has been wonderful. Okay, what do they call it? false fall, right? um, okay, but this weekend's going up to 90, so whatever. It's still August. What do you expect? Okay, block number one, plate number one, plate number two, plate number three, your die cut. And I always like to put kind of the skinniest part feeding first. It kind of helps ease the way into the rollers. And then a number three on top of that. Remember, guys, to always flip your plates over each time you use them. I think I used it that way the last time. I'm going to go like this. Keeps it from bending and getting a permanent bend to the plates. Because once it's really, really bent, it's not going to do the job as well as you want it to. And I always like to keep the bottom one on the bottom each time. Isn't that pretty? So sweet. And keep the top one on top. And then when the bottom one gets super messy and etched, then I'll move the top to the bottom, get a clean one, a new one for the top. That's just how I use them up. You know, makes it a little bit easier logistically for me anyway. Okay, thunderstorm last night. Oh, you know, animals don't like that. Poor guys. That and fireworks, right, Karen? Oh, I'm sure he or she appreciated whatever comfort you could give. Okay, so now I can sort of lay this out and have an idea of what I want to do with it. So this will be like that. It's okay if it hangs over. In fact, I like it better that way. Okay, it just kind of is popping up a little bit more. And we're going to cut our designer paper. Now, let me just, I might even use white. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm just having a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of paper that I'm going to work with. Now, like I said, if your paper doesn't have a direction, you can actually just lay this on your card about as far as you want. I like at least one of them. I like the bottom one to come down to this corner here. So I would line that up with the corner, and I'm going to pull this one up a little bit more so that I'm going to get this angle here. Okay, kind of like an offset point. All right, so once it's in the spot that I want, here's the easy no measure way. Hold it intact, flip it over, take a pencil, and mark where your cuts are going to be. You know, I know it's a little hard to see there, but now I can take my trimmer and I can cut on those lines, lining them up right in the channel there. I'm going to cut the diagonal first. And then I'll cut this way. Now, you can put this right up against there to make sure you have a nice perpendicular line and it won't be crooked. All right, throw your little bits away. And then there's your first bottom piece right there. Okay. Actually, it's just a little short, but I'll adjust that later. You can always just trim that off. So there's one. And then just do the same thing on the other side. Take your paper. Now, the idea of this is you want the top piece to be parallel to this piece here. All right, so, and then eventually this cut is going to be parallel to this. So because these are perpendicular lines, then these are also perpendicular lines. So as long as you don't cut like this or like this, try to eyeball it so that you have some space there. You can decide how much you want. A lot, you want a little. I say, I don't know, I like about that much. So let's measure that. That would be about, about 1.5 inches, but you can decide. You want more, you want less, it's all okay. Move that out of the way. I'm going to hold this in place, flip it over. So my pencil marks are on the back, right? And I can trace, I'm sorry, I'm out of the camera here. And trace those lines, that edge, and then use my trimmer to cut. Right, I'm going to cut the diagonal one first. Now it might be a little tricky. Actually, I think I'll cut this one first because my line is at the edge where I can see it in the groove. And I'm just going to have to hope I'm getting it straight. Actually, I can feel the groove right in there. So yes, I am getting it straight. Just run your fingernail in there and you can feel it. Okay. Going down like that. Now this is giving you odd pieces as your scraps, but you guys can be imaginative and try that out. All right, so now I'm going to put this up against there. We're going to cut that part, and then I'm going to put that up against there and cut that part. Throw that away. And like I said, you have sort of some odd pieces, but you can always cut them down. You can fussy cut things out of there. Remember, you can use some of these. You can fussy cut some of these coming in from the side of your card. Doesn't have to be the whole bird, right? You can have them peeking in from the side to maybe a sentiment in the middle. How cute would that be? All right, so now we have this. Now, because I cut it upside down, I have a little curl to the edge of my paper here where the blade poked down into the paper and it kind of, pushes it this way. So I either take my fingernail or a bone folder and I push that back out again so it doesn't seem like such a rough cut. It looks a whole lot better. So be cognizant of that. Okay, now we can decide which background I want. Right, so now you can see how these are pretty parallel. Might be a little bit off, but it's okay. That's okay. If you need to tweak it, you can always straighten it a little bit and cut the excess later. Okay, so I always layer my card out first when I'm trying to decide which background I want. And even if it is a little bit off, I think it's okay. And this is going to go like that. And we'll have a sentiment up there. Let's compare to the other card. Okay, so I like how I picked up the pool party there, and this bird here picked up the boho blue, right? So you can even emboss this layer inside here. All right, so that's what that looks like. Maybe you can help me decide. Let's see what it might look like. This might be too much of the pool party. I'm thinking it is, but you never know until you actually see it because you might be surprised. Sometimes I am. Often I am. Like, oh, like I was playing Scrabble on my computer the other day. I didn't know that QAT was a word. According to Webster's dictionary, it means cat, C-A-T. I was my last turn and I was losing by, I don't know, 30 points or so. And I had a Q. I had no access to a U. So I was just placing it anywhere, seeing if it popped up as a real word. Put it next to the AT. It worked. I won the game. It's crazy. All right, so here we are with the pool party. It doesn't look bad, but I think I like something more contrasting. Then the other thing I thought of was white. I know in my description of materials, excuse me, I suggested a contrasting color. I guess you can say white is a contrast cardstock. Technically, it's not any color at all, right? Let's just see what that looks like. And then we can put that there. All right. I think that's really pretty. And like I said, maybe a few even embossed the white there. How about the snow, the snow embossing? Oh, let's try that. Hold on one second. I'm going to grab that. Oh, I need my plate too. See, I love how I think of things with you guys. All right, let me see. I hope it's here. Snowflake Sky. There it goes. It has those little dots there. All right, let's run that through the embossing machine. I think that would look really pretty. Yeah, sure. Okay, so your embossing, this is a 3D embossing folder. So it gives you your sandwich right here, 3D embossing folders. All you need is the base plate and the top gray plate. Run that through the machine. Let's see how it looks. There we go. And then this one. Okay, you guys let me know if you like it or if it seems like it's too much. Or maybe just plain white would be a little bit more clean and simple look. I don't know if you can make that out, but I like it both ways. I can't decide. Well, you know, just to be different, I'm going to leave the embossing. I do kind of like the plain because it's a really clean look, but I don't have a sample with embossing, so let's do it, right? Why not? I can always do up some others later. Okay, so I'm going to glue these on. And like I said, there's maybe a little bit of a hangover lip. I can glue it on and then cut that off after. This is the side I want. Line it up with the top and the side. And is that a little sticky? No. Okay, I left enough. I'm going to just trim that little sliver off. There's just been a little glitch in how I cut it. When you have embossed, you're gluing things onto things that are embossed, make sure you use plenty of glue, mostly in the middle, not on the edges. You don't want it to seep out too much, but there's fewer raised parts for the glue to catch. So you want to make sure there's enough on there. Okay, not exactly parallel, but you know what? It's okay with all the angles. I think somebody is not going to notice or think it absolutely had to be. Okay, see, I wanted that to go down to the corner there. All right, and that's getting glued on. Okay, either way, you can't really see the embossing. I realized that time, yeah. But when I show photos, I can capture that. Even though I have a pretty good overhead camera here, it's hard. Nothing like an actual photograph. Well, good morning, Sandy. Nice to see you from Canada. Enjoy the weekend. Watch the replay. All right, Karen. All right. Okay. Thanks for joining on, Karen. I got a little glue there. Use the adhesive eraser to get that off. Okay, we're going to stamp sentiment up here. And we will use Thinking of You Always because it fits best on this particular piece. I didn't even put my labels on most of these yet. Let's hope I get it right. If I mess it up, flip it over, right? Don't like it. Yep, I got a little black up there. Not a good thing. That's why that's extra. Okay, I'm messing up here a little bit. Let me make sure there's no ink on the edge. One more time. It's hard when you have a camera at your forehead. All right, much better. Okey-doke. Close up so I don't make a mess. This will be going on that. I did it again. I have a little jar here with my dimensional backs, and I also have a little jar that I keep my glue in. I keep this upside down in here. Sometimes the glue gets in here, and then I end up with the backs all over the place, sticking to my glue tip. Let's try this again. Okay. And this is going to go on there. Now, on the original, we stamped, colored, and die cut the bird, and then we added extra die cuts with the pine boughs. Because of all this here, that's really not necessary. So I'm just going to leave it as is, and we're going to put this down with dimensionals. Now I am going to take note not to put dimensionals on the tips over here. Okay, and if you want it to be extra sure, you can take your pencil and just draw little lines. No one's going to see the back, right? If you're afraid of just going too far over there. So let's get some dimensionals going. The big one fits there. I love having the choice of big ones and little ones. You can get the little ones in those spots where the big ones wouldn't normally fit. Or You can just cut a little piece. Don't forget to use up those edges. Don't let them go to waste. All right, there we go. Now, before I do that, I am thinking of putting a little twine. Actually, you know what? I'll just glue it on like a bow, like the other card had. You could wrap it around here if you wanted to. Maybe a little linen thread to bring in a little natural element, yet it's very thin and delicate. They're sweet. I love them. Oh, so cute, so cute. Time to use the stamping base. Always mess up trying to do freehand. Oh, yeah. Okay, for the getting the sentiment straight. Is that what you mean? Okay, now of course this can go in the middle. That could be cool too. It almost looks like a shutter card or something, doesn't it? Or you can put it to the side and really highlight that extra point there. And you know what? Again, just to be different from the original, I am going to center it just for a different look. And if you wanted, you can also raise this up on dimensionals, which I think I will do. See how you can just make little baby steps in tweaking your card layout and end up with a, a different look. Well, maybe not all together, but something different. Tweak it enough times, and then it can be totally different. Okay, so put that right there in the middle. I like that, especially if I can get it straight. There. Okay, so let's compare original and the revised version, let's say, slightly revised, but still taking the inspiration from here. All right, and now let me show you how to cut if your paper has an actual direction and up and down, right? Because it's got to be a little different because I'm going to do one here in Cherry Cobbler. I'm using the Pussy Willows as the background, and it's my intention to use the cardinals here. So those will have to be fussy cut. Luckily, I don't mind fussy cutting. Fussy cutting is one of those things people are okay in small doses, or they don't mind it, find it relaxing. I kind of do. I don't want to do 80 at a time, but I don't mind it. I really don't mind it. I do find it relaxing. Some people absolutely will do anything so that they don't have to fussy cut. Okay, so here's our focal element piece. I'm using the dark brown here, because it's in with the Pussy Willows. Now, typically, you wouldn't necessarily think, espresso and cherry cobbler working, but it's a neutral, so it will work. Okay, so that's going to go there. Now, if you have a direction to your DSP, cut your piece to 4 by 4. And then I will show you how to cut your angles and get that look that you want from there. So 4 by 4. I'm putting some things away here. I love my clear bins. They're like a shoebox size or small shoebox size. They're nice and sturdy, and I could stand up an individual project or 2 or 3 projects in there and keep them ready to go. All right. Starting with your DSP in the direction that you want it on your card, we are going to cut from this corner, because I like having the corner there. And we're going to cut from this corner up to here. It doesn't have to be a particular measurement, but I will give you some because that's one that worked for me. Okay, so from this corner, we're going to go a little bit lower than this over here. So in your trimmer, line up that bottom left corner with the channel of your trimmer. And I'm going to cut over to here. All right, so it's a little bit further down. Now, what I've done, and this doesn't have to be the measurement, but what worked for me was having that point at the number 1. All right, so it's not exactly 1 inch down. It's actually more like 1 1/4. But if I just have my point in the channel and the other point on 1, I think it gives a good angle for this card. Now, I always suggest not coming up with your trimmer onto that point because you can crush the point. So I always start at more of a flat edge. And in this case, I'll swipe it down. Okay, so that's what we have there. So let me show you. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with even just having this, right? You can have that diagonal. We've seen that plenty of times. You can even cut it a little smaller if you want and have a border around the edge. Cut it down to 3 3/4, whatever you like. But again, we're looking for that interesting point that's going to come down here. So I'll take the bottom one first. Here's a direction. I'm going to put that diagonal up against my top guide here. And I am going to line up the point to the number 4. So it's somewhere around 3/4 over here, maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to cut right up here. Okay, so now I have that interesting little, looks like a mountain, right? Going up there. I'll show you on. Right, so that's pretty easy, right? So the thing is, now we want this side to match the same angles. So what we cut here, this and this are right angles, right? Because we put it here and we cut here. So that's a 90-degree angle, right? This also happens to be the 90-degree angle too, right? As this does here. So we're going to do a similar thing with the top part. I'm going to put the diagonal cut up against the top. And I'm going to line up the opposite point to the number 4 inch measure. And then we're going to cut up because now we're going to get that right angle along the top here. Now, I didn't have instructions on how to do this. I just saw the card and I kind of worked at it last night until I found an easy way to show you. Because the directions on this person's website said, oh, you see you have angle cuts to your DSP. I'm like, oh, okay, now how would I do that to keep it all straight? So there you go, right? If you wanted a little bit more of more showing here, simply just put that up against, and you can always cut off another small amount if you like until it meets your criteria if you want a little bit more of this showing here. All right, so let's glue this together and see how it all comes out. This is always an adventure for me too. I I have my ideas and I have the things I copy, but I rarely have a card that I duplicate because I like to show you different things. And if I do duplicate the same one, then I don't have variety to show you. Okay, isn't that pretty? I just love that color in there. That's not necessarily, that background isn't necessarily a color we have, but it's nice contrast. Okay, it's not quite mauve. It's not tan or crumb cake or beige. It's not a pink. It is a pinkish, brownish, pinkish. I don't know. We don't have that particular color. I'll tell you that much. But look how nicely it does contrast. Okay, so this is what I started with. I want to use a Pussy Willows. And I said, all right, now what am I going to use in the background? So I took out different cardstocks, layered it, and tried to play around with it. Oh, you need the sweet Barbara. I know it's so pretty. I just love it. I love anything with the birds. So since I wanted to use the cardinals, I'm pulling in the reds. Okay, let me give that a quick fussy cut. Did I already put one aside here? Nope, I didn't. Okay. All right, so I'm not sure how much of these pine needles I'm going to want, but just in case, I'm going to give a little cut all around them. I can always trim them off later. And if you do trim them off, save them for another card. It can always be stuck behind a label or something along that line, right? Okay, steer the paper. Keep my right hand still as I cut. I'm moving the paper. I always say it's like driving down the road. And you don't have to cut every little detail, but you do want to give some sense of contour. You like cutting around the pine leaves here. You don't want to just make a loop. I think it looks nicer if you go a little bit with some of the contour, but obviously it would be a lot if you did every little pine needle. Even just kind of a jagged look, doesn't have to match up exactly, is helpful. Want to keep some rounded edges. You don't want sharp points. I think that always looks good. Ooh, I almost cut that tail off. Didn't see it past my scissor blades. And see how you don't have to go all the way in on here either, especially when it's on a white. If I'm putting it on a dark background, I might not like that look. You know what I mean? Where I have white as a background, but it's on a brown background. But because it's going to be on white, it's going to just blend in with the background, right? Let me finish this, and then we'll see if I need to cut any of those extra branches off. Or they'll just look pretty overhanging. Maybe that little one might have to come off. I don't know. Don't know till you try it. You can always cut it off, but you can't put it back on, right? I'm just going to add a little contour here. Okay, there's a sharp edge there. I'm going to round off. All right, pretty, right? Look, they're gorgeous. So nice. So nice. Do I have room for my thinking of you? Or maybe I will. Okay, the thinking of you is in the bird set. Excuse me 1 second. Greetings of the Season is it's new in the online exclusives, and it has all these labels as the coordinating dies. So even if you didn't want the set, this is going to be good all year round. So you can use that. There's a lot of tags actually. If you don't want the tag part on there, just snip it off after you die cut it. So is there something here we can use? Season's greetings, maybe. You can see I haven't even gotten into this quite so much yet. I don't know if it'll be too big, but let's see. work. And it's okay if this is down further. And I might have to cut that off, but maybe I could stick the berries someplace else. All right, let's put the season's greetings on there. I'm going to keep with the brown, using early espresso. I guess cherry cobbler could look good too. But we'll try this. I don't know if I cleaned this one yet. You know how with the photopolymer, you really should clean them off with a little touch of dish soap and water to get the residual chemicals off. I'll take my chances. Let's see here. Sometimes it's okay. All right, put it way up on top so that I have room for the birds, and that worked out just fine. One thing I like about these scripty things is you don't have to be super straight. Okay. Bring that down like that. I think that's going to look really pretty. Bring it over like that. Maybe put some embellishment there. Or I could tip this a little bit even. There you go. So the branch is horizontal. That's right. This bird has a tail up in the air and this one is straight. Now I got the orientation good. Okay. Put it all together. I'm liking how this is working out. I love the cherry cobbler. Such a rich, rich color. Put my layers on. See, this one I have opening from the side. So it doesn't have to be a top fold. All right, now I'm going to have to move this over a little bit because of the width of this. So this is going to have to be a center one again. Okay, let's put the dimensionals on the back. And I'm going to make sure that this branch meets the bottom of the paper. So it doesn't look like it's just floating in nowhere. It's going to look like it's just coming in off the paper there. I don't know. It's just one of my things that I like to do. If I can. Anyway, the berries are going to hang down, and I think that's okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to be able to do that, but you know what? Maybe I can draw it on later. Take my markers and draw it on there. I'm going to just mark where not to put dimensionals. Oop. All right, great layout. Thank you, Karen. Nice to see you on today. I loved it too. That's why I cased it. Connie Babbert. I've never met her. If I ever do meet her in person, I will certainly thank her again. It appears that she was in Mexico. I saw that she had earned the Mexico trip. Not everybody gets to go, but who knows? Maybe I've seen her. I'm using the wrong scissors. Blue glue. Blue for my sticky things. All right. I have to be supported enough. I like supporting my images and my friends. Okay, put my own twist on it. Thanks, Karen. You know, I love doing that. And that's what I try to tell you all, to inspire you. A lot of times people think, oh, I'm not creative. I can never design my card. Take something, take an element from something that you see and just go with it. Okay, where were we now? Yep, going like this. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that is coming off the edge. And I do like this popped up too. Using up my edges here. Let's get something in the middle. Thanks for hanging around a little bit extra today, guys. Hubby went out to Costco. He's grilling lamb tonight, and I'm having either grilled portobellos or salmon or both. It'll be a nice night for being out on the deck and barbecuing. Probably open up a nice bottle of red wine too. Oh, I love it. I love it. See, and I wouldn't necessarily have thought when I just saw this pussy willow paper, I would not have necessarily thought to put it together with cherry cobbler. But you tie in other colors to bridge between, take the brown, you pick up colors from your focal point, and you're all good to go there. You could put let's see. I do have some of this. This is new linen thread in natural tones linen thread. That is coming in the new catalog, part of this suite. There's Night of Navy, Cajun Clays, and Garden Green. And this one has the Night of Navy on it. So if I put one on there, I think I might want something more natural, or I might just leave it. I don't know if I want bling up there. I might just leave it just as it is. It looks like maybe a little space could be filled in there, but I like doing things in threes. And I don't really see too much room for three unless I did 1, 2, 3, but it'd have to be something pretty small. So I'll think on that and we'll go from there. And I'm not going to hold you up much longer, but let me just show you. First of all, here are all three again. Okay, the inspiration card in the middle. And let me show you one other thing that this suite can do that I'm starting to play around with. That is, the dies have a frame of these pine branches coming out. Really, really interesting. And this is these two branches. Okay, they're two separate ones that cut the same. They're slightly different looking, so that's nice. Is what I cut these branches out of here. But this one is, I cut this, oops, wrong direction, out of Garden Green, and I put those two little ones in the middle because I felt that when I use the frame, I would be taking this middle part out anyway. So I didn't want to waste that paper. So I got two things out of the one. So I just used that for here. So this looks really nice on, well, you can see that would be a really pretty frame around the card. All right, I'm just going to show you here for now, right? That looked really nice. Now I saw also a way, I think I showed this on an online event that some people attended with Stampin' Up. Taking the scrap, so to speak, out of that, from that middle, and then using your blending brush, using it like a stencil. So that's what I did here, just playing around on a piece of scrap. Use my blending brush with Garden Green, and I just went around and added a little bit of light color to that. I unfortunately got a little bit in the middle, so I'm going to have to hide that somehow. But then this is what you end up having. Then, if you take this, obviously what you stenciled will be covered up, but you see what I did? I flipped it, and now you have a little bit more detail there and more depth because you have your die cut on top and you have some inking in back behind there. So that could be, that's going to be another card. Let's pretend maybe this little chickadee can be in there. I'm not going to do it all together now, but I'm just kind of showing you options. Okay, we can put a little guy in there and build our card that way. Isn't that cute? Or we can take a circle. From Spotlight on Nature. Maybe put that there. That will cover up my boo-boo. And we can put our little focal point on there. And you have a beautiful card, quick and easy, right? All right, so there you go. Some ideas. Be careful you don't pull up those little sides. That's one problem of that. And then here's one. Of course, it doesn't have to be a vertical card. You can make it horizontally. And I did this one that was not part of this suite. Let me get this still in there so you can see. I took the In Color 6x6 designer paper in the pretty and pink and made it horizontal. Right? So that's kind of cool. I wrapped a ribbon around that entire layer, made a little bow. I have dimensionals on the back here, making sure that they will not go on the bow, that they will straddle the bow so we don't have like an uneven focal point here. Okay, if you have trouble getting off the back, just poke your fingernail in there and the edges will pop up. I usually just run my finger along a flat edge and curl it up and then I can grab it. A lot of people do have trouble with this though. I'm not sure. So totally different look here, right guys? And then I just used the bow punch. Cut some white and some pink flowers, and then you have a cute little card there. All right, so see how one thing can lead to another and lead to another. So this became this, right? Totally different colors, different shape, adding, turning it the other way. So just start playing and the ideas will flow. All righty. So, oh, thank you. Thank you, Michelle. All right. Oh, hi, Len. Nice to see you here today. Let me just scan over some comments in case I missed something. It's hard for me to watch them both. The bow punch. Oh, yes. I love it, Debbie. Oh, it's one of my favorites. I use it a lot. So easy to add something to that. You don't even have to stamp it, although it does coordinate with the layering leaves stamp set. So if you wanted some detail on those little leaves there, you can do that. This is a stamp set that was designed by Rachel Tessman as her $1 million sales achievement. Stampin' Up! Lets you help design a stamp set. So we already had the bow punch. And she saw an opportunity to have some stamps to coordinate with that, which was wonderful. This has been very popular. I love that you have those coordinating. You have two-step um, stamping opportunities as well. You can fill in the leaves with different colors. These here, you can, I love something with speckles. You can always add a little background with those speckles. And I love the fonts and the sayings. It's like the most perfect set for me. I just love that. And I've met Rachel a couple times on our trips, and she's a lovely person. So anyway, hope to see you next time. Let me know. Oh, hi, Kate. Oh, I want to see this question. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Marianne. Nice to, what a nice compliment. I love that. Thank you so much. Like I said, if you're local and you want to attend my retreat on September 20th, RSVP ASCP because we're filling up. Okay. So I hope to see you again soon. We'll see you next time. Remember, the catalog goes live on September 4th, and then you could order these products as well. Unless you're a demonstrator, you can order them now. All righty. Take care, everybody. Reach out if you have any other questions. All right. Glad, nice to see you all. Bye-bye.